Beat knockers, beat knockers, time to eat. Pull up a chair, eat with me. Hey, what's up, YouTube? You know we gotta start this thing out with that cold start. It's about 29 degrees in GA. All right, YouTube, so I'm gonna try to do this with one hand, but Happy New Year, everybody. It's only 5:23 right now. It's New Year's Eve. I'm about to get ready to bust off a few rounds, as you can see. It's my clip right here. These are not hollow points. These are actually just my rounds. They're still made for distance, though. I'm not good. That's a little better, though. They're still made for distance, though. I actually got to change. I can actually do it with one hand. That's the good news. That's my little piece. I only keep this in this car because it's black and gray. Now, I'm actually taking these out. These are actually my hollow points right here. I'm definitely not shooting these for fun. If I shoot these, then it's definitely for another purpose. You know, I try to keep all my weapons clean or whatever. I'm only showing this because it's New Year's Eve and I'm about to get ready to pop off a few rounds, so you know, it is what it is. But those are my hollow points right there, for those who think they're not. Those are real hollow points. And the reason why I can get these, well, actually I can get these super easy, due to the fact that I have a concealed weapons permit. So I'm actually gonna load these up. There you go. Ready to get it. So I'm gonna put these hollow points back into the glove box, along with that little 40. That's a Smith & Wesson 40, by the way, people. All right, now on to the video. So what I want to talk about right quick is, I know people have different goals that they want to do for the new year. So, and one of them might be, like, I met a guy yesterday, Mr. Dion. Mr. Dion wants a V8. So that really brought me, that brought to my attention that maybe I should talk about the pros and cons of owning a V8. All right, so one of the pros and cons of owning a V8, man, is the fact that you do have to make sure you have the money for the maintenance. And the maintenance includes fuel. Now, granted, if you have a fuel efficient car, you're not gonna put gas in it as much as you would a V8 that's performance based. So that's one thing to think about. Also, you have to think about tire replacement. You have to think about brake replacement. You have to think about different modifications that you may or may not want to add to your vehicle that may cause the maintenance to be more expensive. So that's definitely one thing you have to think about. Another thing you have to think about is insurance. For some younger people, I'm 33, so my insurance for my Daytona 392 and my Magnum, I only pay like $200, full coverage. So for some people, it may be higher depending on your driving record. So if you have a crappy driving record, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. If you have a crappy driving record, then you may want to hold off on getting a V8. And also, there is a difference between this and owning a Hellcat as far as insurance goes. I actually was about to buy a Challenger, but of course I changed my mind yet again because I didn't like the price tag on it. And I actually ran the numbers, and my insurance would go up another $100. So with my Magnum and a Hellcat, I'll be paying about $325 full coverage, which I have pretty good coverage on my Daytona, Gap, and all that good stuff. So that's another thing you need to think about is insurance, and are you a reckless driver, because that's definitely going to affect your insurance rate, no question. Now, one of the good things is you're going to love to do burnouts. Another one of the good things is, man, they're fun. They're extremely fun. Now, as far as practicality goes, a Charger is definitely more practical than a Challenger. I can definitely agree to that, due to the fact that it has 4 doors. But as far as the horsepower that you have, I don't really see it being a practical car, due to the fact that the power it puts down, the different performance that it gives, and just how fast it burns through fuel. If you go and you dog your car all, like literally, if you fill up, like if I fill up right now, I can dog my car for a good hour and 15 minutes, and after that, I'm definitely gonna need gas. I can almost promise you that. So that's another thing you have to think about. And I'm just, and granted, I don't regret owning a V8. I just want to inform my subscribers and other people that may watch my channel that these are different things you have to think about. So don't make an impulse decision and regret it later. I thought about my purchase. I didn't buy this car to be a fuel efficient car. I didn't buy it because it was practical. I bought it because I wanted something fun. I work a lot, especially during the summer. So I wanted something that on my way to work, I'm gonna smile. On my way home, I'm gonna smile. So that was my purpose for buying it. That, and I've always wanted a 392. That's just what it is. I've always wanted something that was SRT based. I've been in love with SRT since 2005. So, but you have to think about these different factors so that you have knowledge about your purchase. Because the only thing you're going to really think about is the fun you're going to have. And I don't want anybody regretting getting it or having to trade it in because it wasn't that practical to them. So I would suggest to anyone who has a whole lot of responsibility, like I say, I have a mortgage and a wife, so that's it. And my wife works, so really I just have a mortgage to worry about. But you have to think about, of course, your responsibilities. Different mods you may want to add. If you want horsepower and practical, a RT is practical. It's got enough power, way more fuel efficient, still 4 doors. But once you step up into the 392 family, that's when practical kind of starts to make its way out of the window. Now, granted, a 392 is still practical. You can still drive around with your family, but I just really highly, strongly wouldn't recommend it being your everyday driver. It's not my everyday car, so whenever I'm in my car, you know, I'm gonna have fun in it. But if it's your everyday driver, it can definitely be quite costly. The reason being because you're gonna go through tires quicker. The Pirelli P Zeros, if you have the Pirelli P Zeros, they're about $230 a piece. And I know somebody's like, well, I can get them cheaper. I can get them for $100. but is the quality going to be the exact same? I don't believe in taking shortcuts if I'm taking a shortcut on quality. You might be able to get them cheaper, but you know, are they really Pirelli P-Zeros? Or are they just the off-brand that may give me a blowout if I do too many burnouts? I know what these tires are capable of, so that's why I'm sticking to the brand. Also, your brakes. Now, I don't think it's that expensive. I actually called and asked Butler Tires, and it really wasn't that expensive to change them. And the only reason why I asked Butler Tires is because a lot of dealerships in Atlanta do not have 392s on their lot. So I don't know if I would really trust a dealership that doesn't have one of my particular models on their lot to actually work on certain things, just because I know they haven't dealt with it yet. So another thing, just overall regular, the oil change. That's something you have to think about as well. The oil change. The oil change on my car is $85, which isn't terrible, but that's $40 more higher than my Magnum. My Magnum is only like $45. The Daytona is $85, and it can go up to like $120 depending on. I mean, I use synthetic, of course, but depending on what brand of synthetic, it can definitely be like $120 for oil change. And I know some people are like, man, for oil change, so if you put together a set of tires and an oil change, you're looking at about $700. You have to think, can you really afford to dish out $700 at one time? I know some people's budgets are a little tighter than others. I don't know nobody's situation, but I just want to be informational and give you guys information on the pros and cons. Now, granted, do me myself personally love having a 392? I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I say, it's not my everyday car, so I don't really have to worry about putting gas in it too often. I don't really have to worry about the maintenance on it too often. I don't really have to worry about just the everyday driving of the car. I don't really have to worry about that because it's not an everyday driver. Now, would I drive it as an everyday car? Sure. I don't think I would play with it as much. I would definitely, drive it normal, due to the fact that I don't want to cause more wear and tear than I need to, due to the fact this is my everyday car. And I know people that drive Daytonas as their everyday vehicle, and they absolutely love it. I think they're great cars for everyday use. I just don't want mine to be everyday use because I bought it for just to be a fun car. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to talk you out of buying a V8. But if you can barely afford to fix your V6, I don't suggest you get a V8. Because it's definitely more expensive. Especially different mods you want to get. Like long tube headers, that's not that expensive. The most expensive thing you can do to these cars is supercharge. I looked into a Whipple charger. The price tag on that was about 12 grand. And that was by a place in Marietta called Injected. And they do, from what I hear, good work. I don't really know anyone personally that's been to them, but it was about 12 grand, and they do give you a warranty when they do that, which is great. But I don't think you will still put down enough power to beat a Hellcat. I think you'll get roughly about, from what the guy was saying, it's another 150. So you'll get right at, almost right at 600. So, I mean, a little under 600, if not right at it. I don't know the exact math on that. I mean, I'm talking about as far as horsepower to the wheels, because what he was saying is it varies. Sometimes they can push out another 200. Sometimes they can push out another 100. Just depends on the modifications you have and how you've tuned it. So, just a little heads up, man. I wanted to give you guys that information. Also, I want to wish everybody a happy and safe New Year. Be safe. I know there's going to be some burnouts tonight. I know there's going to be some revving engines, some going fast. Everybody be safe and have a happy New Year.